All right, guys, before we continue with today's video, I just wanted to sit down and talk really quick about Opposition Games. They are my newest sponsors. They have all of the top meta cards on their shop. You guys can check them out. And if you guys want to buy anything that is Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, or Magic, of course, you guys can get 5% off using Savage5, my affiliate code. So make sure you guys check them out. The link will be down in the description.
Let's get right into it. Again, neither of these duelists need any introduction, right? As you know, James has actually, I think, won the last two of these. And Dennis, as you know, is somebody who has been just a YCS Top Cup competitor over and over again. In fact, I believe the last time I saw Dennis was actually in YCS Las Vegas, walking off with a giant card, if I recall correctly. So again, some really great stuff. And even if I'm mistaken, there are some great duelists who have gotten this far. So, how do you get this far in the tournament? Well, again, both of these players are playing a very familiar deck. You might recognize that it is Snake Eye. The difference is, though, James is going to be playing his own special build here. It's a little bit more on the Snake Eye side. Dennis, however, is including those powerful Fire King monsters. And we haven't seen some of the Fire King monsters even hit the board, right? They've been threatening to appear, but now that I think about it, I don't know that Kiran Garunix or Arvada has ever appeared. So we get to finally see which of these two decks from these undefeated duelists, who are no stranger to this game, no stranger to this room, literally like living in our stream room. This is going to be a good match. Great accessorizing there, by the way, the Photon Hypernova mat. Certainly neat there, and those beautiful water sleeves there from the official card game, the Japanese version of the game. Going to go and roll. Looks like James is going to come out with an 8. Dennis, on the other hand, is a 10. So dice roll is already in his favor. Let's see how this turns out. Now, again, it is difficult to kind of pull out the nuance, but I always love to describe this as a boxing match. Again, you know, boxing match is technically just two guys punching at each other, right? Well, you would think the same with the Fire King deck, but you know better than that. Boxing is very nuanced, sometimes brutal, but each person is able to express their individual identity, and that's exactly what we're doing here. Dennis starting off the turn by activating Water Seeker of Sinful Spoils, quickly grabbing the Dia Bellstar from the deck. Taking a moment to think which of these cards he might send to the graveyard for Dia Bellstar. Looks like Poplar is going to go to the grave, and hello, Dia Bellstar. So, Chainlink 1, Dia Bellstar, Chainlink 2, Poplar. Dia Bellstar will go ahead and appear on the field. Looks like Poplar is setting an additional, or excuse me, next to Poplar is set an additional copy of the Wanted. So you probably have the original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye in the hand. Quick look at the cards in James's hand. There's the original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye from the hand, sending the face-up Poplar from the Spell and Trap Zone to the graveyard to bring out the Fire King Ponix. Ponix is going to reach deep in the deck, grab that Fire King Sanctuary, and we're probably going back in as we activate that to place the field spell on the field. So here comes our Fire King Island. Again, Fire King Island, such a great, powerful card, allows you to destroy your fire monsters, to grab even more powerful fire monsters, and as you know, the Fire Kings really want to see stuff destroyed, so they're okay with it, but it's very fragile. As you know, Fire Island could get a little crazy. If you happen to get rid of it, all of your monsters get destroyed, so you have to play carefully here. We've even seen Fire King duelists get rid of their card by shuffling it back in the deck before it can destroy their monsters. Looks like we are going to use the Fire King Island, destroying the Arvada in the hands. We'll use that Arvada to go ahead and grab the Sacred Fire King Garunix, who just recently saw a fire monster destroyed. So it is going to be able to special summon itself and destroy a monster from the deck. That's going to be the Fire King High Avatar Kiran. Ponix is going to go to the graveyard and turn itself into a Link Karibo. And now we have our first normal summon. Here comes the Snake Eye Ash. Joining Snake Eye Ash, of course, the Fire King Arvada, a very fearsome card. We saw in the Quarter Century Celebration how powerful it was, forcing players to play considerably sub-optimally so they could destroy Fire King Arvada by battle before it used its powerful negation effect. But already we have so many monsters on the field, and Even more resources grabbed out by the Poplar. Taking a quick second to think about the Ash, but notice how quick and decisive these motions are. Both of these duelists have gone undefeated all day. They're in their zone. They could probably do another 10 rounds of Yu-Gi-Oh!, but they probably won't have to. Looks like we're going to go ahead and dip into the deck again, sending the Ash to the graveyard in order to trade it out for the Flamberge Dragon. Great use of the Sanctuary there. Sanctuary, you know, it's a great card, but there's a bunch of different ways to get rid of Fire King Island that do not involve destruction. So it's not necessarily as safe as it used to be. So you can just use that as a resource to get rid of, so you can keep your monsters on the board and combine them for additional link summons. Looks like we're going to send these to the graveyard. Dia Bellstar. Oh, maybe not. Still thinking about it. Don't want to fill up too many zones here unless you're doing a link 3 or higher for the Flamberge Dragon. Dennis just taking a quick moment to calculate that out. First guess, best guess. Looks like we're going to actually send the Dia Bellstar to the graveyard and the Link Karibo for a link summon. That makes Dark the Dark Charmer Gloomy. It is a spellcaster, so it might be climbing up into Selene. But instead, looks like we're just going to combine 2 effect monsters. There is the Selene after all, including that spellcaster. Use that to special summon the Dia Bellstar and immediately trade that in for Apollousa, Bow of the Goddess. Looks like that was a 2-material Apollousa, so it's going to be 1600 attack. Then we're going to perform another link summon here, including the Flamberge Dragon, so we will see some level 1 fire monsters hit the field again. It makes IP Masquerena. And then we're going to see Snake Eye Ash and Snake Eye Poplar once more. Again, multiple ways to negate effects here. Not worried about Nibiru, not worried about any points of interaction from the hand. So immediately link summon over into the Promethean Princess, finding itself in the middle of the main monster zone by Apollousa. That quickly summons Flamberge out and then trades itself in with another Snake Eye Ash to form. Looks like the Ambler Whale in the main monster zone. Again, using those link arrows very well. Also going to banish that copy of the Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils to go ahead and return to the bottom of the deck the original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye and draw a new card. So just a dominating field here. Shows you how these duelists got to the top tables after 10 rounds of Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, 9 rounds. We still have this round so far. It ain't over till it's over. The Arvada definitely adds an additional dimension here, and so many bodies, allowing the Apollousa to be formed too. But we are going to see the Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils come out. Grabbing Dia Bellstar. Seemed like good enough move for Dennis. Might be a great enough move for James. Going to go in special summon the IP Masquerena using the effect of the Snake Eye Flamberge Dragon. Now with the IP Masquerena on the field, quick effect link summon is a thing. James just taking a look there. You can see the bonfire off the top. You didn't get Ash Blossom before, probably just fine. So no response there, going back in the deck to search out for a Pyro monster. That's going to be Poplar. Snake Eye Poplar just showing why it is such a versatile card. Again, if. So many great effects there. Not necessarily something to be afraid of, but just kind of gets the party started. Sometimes it's not about how strong you are, it's about how strong your friends are. Dennis taking a quick moment to consider just so many different effects. Maybe going to use the Apollousa to negate a single activation here. Once per chain, of course. May see the effect failure from the hand, but of course it's your opponent's main phase, the only time you can activate that, so now is not the time. Might need an infinite impermanence. Looks like we are going to use the effect there to negate that. So that'll stay in the hand. Remember, Apollousa doesn't really do much as far as destruction. She gets negates. So now it should be 800 attack, okay, but that's still pretty lethal on its own. And the Arvada still waits there to destroy a fire monster to negate the activated effect of a monster. James is no stranger, though. Looks like Triple Tactics Talon is coming the way. There's nothing that appears to be able to stop that. So if we were taking a monster, it could be used to get something annoying out of the way. Now, you could end up using IP Masquerena. Could draw some cards. Looks like we're going to take the Arvada. So Fire King Avatar Arvada being on the opposing side of the field. Now you can destroy your own fire monster, get it to the graveyard, might even be able to use Poplar for that, and negate that effect. Looks like we're going to normal summon Poplar. Taking a quick second as Dennis to think, what is it that I want to do? He summoned a monster. Do I want to negate it? Maybe use our Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames? No, just let it pass through. Worried more about maybe the cards in the hand, but now we're going to grab the Divine Temple of the Snake Eye. We've seen how influential this card could be if it resolves. Quick shuffle of the hand shows that Monster Reborn may come in handy. Might be just the thing the doctor ordered to play Monster Reborn to bring the Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames to your side of the field and start getting your own plays going and special summoning your own fire monsters from the grave. Dennis still thinking about that set card. Taking a quick look at the Fire King Island. But it looks like we're going to use IP Masquerena. Going to go ahead and Link Summon. Thinking about that Link, but it's going to be SP Little Knight, which is going to be able to banish a card because a monster was used. It was one of those sacred types that allows it to get that free banish. Of course, you can't attack directly, but not something to worry about when it's not your turn. And banishing the Poplar. Decided to let that through. Wasn't going to use the Fire King Avatar Arvada to do anything about that. Both players just kind of pensively shuffled through the cards there, but now the Flamebird Dragon's gone from the field to the graveyard. We'll special summon 2 level 1 fire monsters from the grave, that being Snake Eye Poplar and Snake Eye Ash. It's a new turn, so Snake Eye Ash could definitely use its effects to go ahead and come back in the deck and grab a new card. Certainly been a long day. Did a second attack in the crack his knuckles. As he searches through the deck one more time for Snake Eye Ash. Also as the Poplar search as well. Again, it's hard to quantify what the deck does, but man, cumulatively, the resources never run dry. Looks like we're grabbing an original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye with the effect of Poplar, and a Snake Eye Oak with the effect of Ash. Play continues over on the other side. Just so many things for Dennis, but James is not giving this duel up yet. Every duel counts. Why go to game 2 when you can settle it in game 1? Divine Temple of the Snake Eye is going to place in the Spell and Trap Zone from the deck Snake Eye Flamebird Dragon. Always fun to see it. And certainly a great way to steal off your opponent's Spell and Trap monsters. Going to go ahead and discard the Snake Eye Oak to bring out Dia Bellstar, attempt to activate its effects. Certainly a number of ways to stop it there on the field. Dennis has almost unlimited creativity there. But choosing perhaps not to do anything. Giving your opponent a body on the field could be pretty scary, but it looks like we are going to see the Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames popping out of the graveyard to destroy a fire monster on your field and something from the opponent's side. What a graveyard, by the way, really using so many resources so far. But the great news is that you get to reuse these resources. So it looks like we're going to get rid of the Arvada. And get rid of the Amblo ship. Amphibious Swarm Ship Amblo Whale, excuse me. Quite the name to keep track of, that's for sure, but that'll go to the graveyard. Promethean Princess is now here. So now you're locked into fire monsters. Not necessarily a problem, but we are seeing a lot of different attributes there. Setting a card there with the Dia Bellstar. And then using the Divine Temple of the Snake Eye, since the monster was special, something that being Promethean Princess. Snake Eye Flambird Dragon is able to push itself forward. So again, James just not letting go of this duel. Doesn't matter what it is that he sees. We did destroy that Fire King Avatar Arvata. So we could use its effect to bring out another fire monster here. Thinking about it? And so now it looks like we are going to go through our chain links with the Divine Temple. Targeting the Flamberge Dragon. Dennis has to make a decision. Certainly difficult when you've got that many options on the field. But you don't get this far unless you're a decisive duelist. So looks like we have destroyed Fire King High Avatar Garunic, or Sacred Garunics. So we might have even more fire fun on the way. Really, what sets the Fire King deck apart is just bigger monsters and a little bit more extension. Never gives up. Obviously, the Snake Eye is a little easier to navigate through. You don't have these competing strategies all at once. A little bit of glare there, but looks like a Kirin based on the green I could see. Take another look at that Kirin, thinking to himself, well, what are we going to do with High Avatar Kirin? Looks like we might finally be using the SP Little Knight to go ahead and banish the Flamberge Dragon. However, we did unfortunately lose the Kirin to the Spell and Trap Zone. And SP Little Knight can't quite save you just yet. One more card slapped down. There's the Monster Reborn, but not using it to seal a monster, instead targeting the Snake Eye Oak. Of course, it can either add to the hand from the graveyard or the banishment, or maybe a special summon. So here comes the Snake Eye Poplar. Again, James just determined to make this game one work. And hopefully we'll see if the strategy pays off, but so far, no signs of slowing down. All of this has been the same very consequential turn. Both players doing a great job of navigating it. Nobody's walked into the minefield just yet. And we are going to use the original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye. You know it works by now, but just in case, we're going to go ahead and send something to the graveyard in order to special summon a level 1 fire monster. Asking the judge a little question there, just to make sure if we're going to be putting out the Spell and Trap set. Oh, but it looks like the level 1 fire monster we're summoning is the Jet Synchron. That appears to be a collector rare from Maze of Millennia. Again, everybody at the top table, a serious duelist. They are showing off in style. Just thoughtful gameplay here. Nobody taking a misstep. Nobody overdoing it. Again, could Synchro summon using the Dia Bellstar there. Maybe a Boral Savage Dragon appearing on the field. We have seen that. Nice way to get another negate. Push the opponent just a little bit. Big body, too. Are going to draw by using the effect of the original Sinful Spoiler. The Wanted, excuse me. And it looks like we are going to special summon Dia Bellstar still in the field there, and Jet Synchron still able to make a reprisal appearance by discarding a card from the hand. But that doesn't seem what the option's going to be. Instead, we're link summoning into Hida, the Fire Charmer. So now it looks like we're going to go ahead and share a little graveyard action there. I don't mind. I took your fire monster before. Let me take it back. But before we do, Flamberge Dragon's going to bring Jet Synchron back into action and partner it up with Snake Eye Poplar once more. So take a look at the graveyard here. I mean, plenty of fire monsters. We're going to use it to take the Garunix. Big body for sure. I think the Apollo Usa might have used all of its negates up at this point. So maybe 0 attack and not 800 after all. Time for another link summon. Feels like Promethean Princess. No, this time it's Nightmare Phoenix. Not only placing the Poplar back on the field, using Poplar's effect actually to put the Flamberge down. And then using Nightmare Phoenix to get rid of the Fire King Island and therefore possibly destroying everything on Dennis's field. Luck might have finally run dry there. Again, the Fire King Island's great. Gets you in the game, but it's very, well, let's just say that volcano is not dormant. It could erupt at any moment. And it looks like it has. We're just going to let that go through. And now in a new chain, its effect should activate, destroying every monster Dennis has. There they go. It was fun having a field that big, but now they're gone. However, a Link monster was destroyed, so it might be time for a little Ambler Whale action. Taking a quick look at the Ambler Whale. Pass me the Swarm Ship. And should be able to go ahead and bring out a Link 3 there. Amphibious Swarm Ship, Ambler Whale, just an incredible card. Obviously good, but it just feels like all of these cards just got better over time. Taking a quick look at the Kieran. Going to go to the graveyard as well. There we go. So we're going to go and special summon the Fire King Avatar Arvata. Arvata, again, able to destroy fire monsters to negate the effects of opponents' cards. Only once per turn, but hey, that's all you need. And destroying those cards is really exciting when you're a Fire King duelist. Gets everything going. A little bit of a hothead, right? Loves to eat those spicy foods and feel the pain. Now we're going to lose the Nightmare Phoenix, unfortunately. So now we're just in the battle again. We've seen this time and time again. You can't really push that further when you are facing down the Arvada. You do have to engage it directly in battle. So the Sacred Garunix will go ahead and attack. Doing a little 900 off the top. And then Jet Synchron is a fire monster that's level 1. So it should be boosted up, I believe. Judge and James have a little conversation about that maybe right now. Again, taking a look at the text of Divine Temple. Level 1 fire monsters you control gain 1,100 attack, so yes, 1,600 it is. Jet Synchron never looks so strong. Divine Temple, definitely a powerful card. Does quite a bit there. And also manages to fit in Wetlands level attack boost. And not quite Wetlands, of course. It looks like we are going to go ahead and Link Summon into our Link Karibo. Then we're going to go ahead and send the Garunix to the graveyard and Link Karibo. Probably an SP Little Knight. Does let you get that free banish. For the rest of the turn, you can't attack directly. But hey, we already attacked this turn. We ain't worried about that. 22 minutes off, already into the game. About 23 minutes to spare, and it's only game 1. We've had exciting back and forths. We've had absolute shutouts. But this is very calculated gameplay from just two great players of the game. Looks like we're going to use our wanted Secret Spinful Spoils. Probably in the draw phase, just to avoid the Droll and Lockbird. Although it doesn't appear like James has anything in his hand. Certainly a lot of resources went in the last turn, but look at how clean that board looks compared to just the onslaught, the armada of monsters before. Flamberge, adjacent to Flamberge. Take a look at that graveyard very closely. I mean, you'll see it's a full-on deck profile at this point. Very interesting, by the way, to use water sleeves with a fire deck. Even looks like water dice. Dennis definitely showing off different attribute than what he is playing. Speaking of a different attribute, though, we're going to go back into the fire here using the Promethean Princess's effects to try to special summon. But it looks like we're going to use SP Little Knight in response to that to banish both. So we do have a Fire King Arvada again. Well, but it's kind of by its lonesome. Now, our second copy of a Blue Eyes White Dragon level monster, right? 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense. Flamberge Dragon storms back onto the field. Got to be very careful here. If you put any of those monsters into the spell and trap zone, quick effects, Flamberge Dragon can go ahead and just steal them and take them themselves. So, is that what we do here? It looks like we're going to go and just send the Flamberge Dragon to the graveyard. So we've got our 2 chain links, of course. We're going to set that wanted and go ahead and use the effect here, the Flamberge Dragon as well. Might have resolved that reverse order, but no harm, no foul. Still getting the job done. See, it's Snake Eye Ash and Snake Eye Poplar. It's going to be pretty scary from here on out. Those 2 monsters may not be able to hold the field long enough. Both players keeping great pace of play. There's no slow play here, but man, a lot of moves, lots of interaction. There's certainly not too much to be afraid of if you lose your Snake Eye Flamberge Dragon. Trade it in for 2 fire monsters at a level 1 each. And then you contribute one of those 2 to bring on a Linkuriboh. So you're pretty safe on James' side. Again, not giving up a single game. Not like, oh, this is overwhelming, let me access my side deck. No, no, no. I haven't lost a match yet. I don't intend to. Play still on Dennis' side. Going to go and send the Poplar and Snake Eye Ash to the graveyard. Oh, there's the heat of the Fire Charmer. Again, our graveyard. So who are we going to steal here? Could even take the Nightmare Phoenix. Oh, we are taking the Nightmare Phoenix just for the extra link arrows there. So could make a quick and easy Link 4 monster. And that seems to be exactly what we're doing. An access code talker. We haven't seen that the entire tournament. But with an extra deck full of different attributes and so many of them already in the graveyard, really could go ahead and just rifle through the field. The access code talker is likely 4,300, stealing a 2,000 attack point bonus because of the 2 arrows printed on the heat of the Fire Charmer. Using the effective access code talker. Going to go ahead and destroy the Flamberge Dragon. Here goes the Palooza. That's the wind attribute. And that might have been enough for James. He held out quite a while in that first game. But once access code talker hits the board, well, you know how it goes. You played Master Duel. Rifle through that extra deck and get a little bit of a rebate there, destroying card for card for card when your opponent cannot even respond. It's a great game 1 there, but only with about 3 minutes to side deck. Both players are going to only have, quick math, about 24 minutes left on the clock there. No, excuse me, that's bad math. 16 minutes, 16 minutes. So we can't have another game like that, that's for sure. Could our undefeated duelists end this duel in a tie? I guess we'll have to find out. Again, still can't get over the water sleeves and the water dice on the fire deck. I know this is in other games where attributes are a thing, but in this format it certainly feels like it. Didn't quite get to see what we ended up shuffling in there from the side deck. We know there are plenty of incredible options. Seeing so many Cosmic Cyclones, so many summon limits, so many Bestials. Be interesting to see if they both just side deck in the same thing. There's no Lullaby of Obedience for spell and trap cards, but certainly could be double spell. And that's what I'd like to see. After we saw the Lullaby of Obedience at the top tables of YCS Vegas, that's the next funny tech. Just activate double spell. I'll just steal that original Sinful Spoils. Thank you. Both players just shuffling up and getting ready for another game. No nerves here. They're both very comfortable in this format. Very comfortable in this arena. And you'd have to be. You've been here all day. At this point, they likely have been here in excess of 12 hours. Hey, but you don't become a champion just by slumming it out in the first couple of rounds. You got to go the whole 9, or in this case, 10 yards. All right. Looks like we are ready for our game 2. Dennis taking the first one. That gives James an opportunity to go first. Looks like we're seeing, well, at least enough cards to get things started. Infinite Permanence definitely will help for next turn. Let's go ahead and start with Snake Eye Ash. Dennis keeping the water vibe going on, taking a quick swig there. But looks like no response. Snake Eye Ash is going to dig deep in the deck. Grab Snake Eye Poplar. Of course, you know it special summons itself to the field when added to the hand. Going right back in. And looks like we might have pre-selected the card there. Looks like we're taking the Divine Temple to Snake Eye once more. Watching the Snake Eye mirror match is just so interesting, though, because that Divine Temple is a double-edged sword. Flamebird Dragon's like, oh, cool. You put a spell and trap just for me? Yeah, I'll take that free monster. Now, Poplar is going to get turned likely into Linkuriboh. Poplar's effect will activate, replacing itself back on the field as a spell or trap. I guess it is a continuous spell, but still, not every day you see a monster in the spell and trap zone. Unless it's a Snake Eye deck, or Crystal Beasts, or Centurion, or Vision Hero. Now we're going to go ahead and see the original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye. Go ahead and send that Poplar to the graveyard. Or excuse me, the Linkuriboh that was made from the Poplar. Special summoning the Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron going to go ahead and Synchro summon here for Boral Savage Dragon. There's Boral Savage Dragon. Now does get to use the effect of Boral Savage Dragon to equip that Linkuriboh. Getting a single negate there. The old ways are still good. We still Synchro summon, but before we can, there's the Nibiru of the Primal Being. That was the 5th summon, unfortunately. So say goodbye to your monsters. Looks like we're going to just have a little bit of attack here. Should be 3,000 for the Boral Savage Dragon. Just a little bit more off the top from the Snake Eye Ash. Doing a little quick math here. Can't quite make it out. But we'll put that token over there in attack mode. Certainly helpful if you happen to just draw a triple Tactics Talent. Maybe a change of heart. But again, you summoned a monster, didn't you, Dennis? So the Divine Temple of the Snake Eye will allow James to go and special summon that Flamberge Dragon back to the field. Flamberge Dragon could be used to just say, hey, Nibiru, why don't you push back? However, if it did, may not be the strongest use of that card because you wouldn't be able to set up those powerful combinations with your IP Masquerena in the spell and trap zone. Speaking of IP Masquerena, there she is. The Masquerena just needs 2 non-link monsters, so perfect to use that token. And now we're going to combine it with the Jet Synchron there to make probably the Promethean Princess I would expect. There's the Bestower of Flames. Now we can use that to bring back the Flamberge Dragon. Probably would be using the Flamberge Dragon to put the IP Masquerade in the Spell and Trap Zone, but before we even get to that, going to use the Snake Eye Ash. Sending that to the graveyard and its friend to bring out Snake Eye Oak. Snake Eye Oak, of course, adding or special summoning. So there's Jet Synchron back on the field. Kind of feel like we've seen more Jet Synchron than any other Snake Eye monster. Just really leaning into that card, but just showing how versatile it is. Again, doesn't even matter to be banished, but oh, we're going a different direction here. Getting to draw a card off the Formula Synchron. Always fun when you get to see a familiar face at the right time, isn't it? So, of course, Formula Synchron drawing that card. Bringing out the best of us. It could be Baronne de Fleur, but before we do, let's go ahead and piece over. Slide across the table that Nibiru, the Primal Being. And get your cameras ready, because you're not going to want to miss this. We've got both IP Masquerena and Formula Synchron here. But which direction do we go? Do we synchro summon Baronne de Fleur, for instance? Really lock down that zone. And we don't have to make the decision yet. Again, you can either link summon or synchro summon during your opponent's turn. How cool is that? We're going to go ahead and use the Divine Temple of the Snake Eye. I can't quite see it from the glare. Got a quick look at it, though. It's time to synchro summon. Let's rev it up for Baronne de Fleur. Powerful monster, right? Has the ability to negate any card it feels like and destroy it. Also gets to destroy cards itself. A little bit more handy in the Fire King strategy, of course, because you want to destroy those cards. A triple tactic cell at the wrong time here could be deadly for James. Only about 10 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock here. Dennis considering his options. Just taking a quick look at the hand there. Thinking about putting the Flamberge down the Spell and Trap Zone via the effect of the Snake Eye Divine Temple. Yes, that is what we're going to end up doing. Still have the ability to negate effects. Now the opponent did summon a monster. Did James accidentally trigger the Divine Temple? Well, the Flamberge went to the graveyard. So you're going to have to special summon 2 monsters to the field anyway. But it looks like we're using Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. Forcing the hand there. Got to do something with it. If it leaves the field, you're going to be taking 3,000 points of effect damage. Maybe you don't want to use that IP Masquerena after all. Now you could chain before the effect is negated. But it looks like we might just be negating and destroying the Ghost Mourner. Still figuring out the chain links. Definitely a complicated game state. James turning to our judge there to kind of straighten things out. So we're getting just a little of instruction there. Again, this is why no 2 Fire King Snake Eye duelists are alike, especially if they're not even playing the same variant of the deck. But it shows you there's just so much nuance to this. You can't just say, oh, I'm seeing the same cards every time. This is the same duelist carbon copying their opponent's decks. No, these are really nuanced games. Both players just almost feel like they're playing completely different vibes, even though many of the cards they're seeing are the same. Taking a quick moment here just to make sure that we fully understand what's going on. Looks like Judge has pulled up Yu-Gi-Oh! Neuron there with the Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. So again, the Flamberge Dragon probably still somewhere buried in the chain links there. We did Ghost Mourner. I believe that's a Quarter Century Secret Rare Ghost Mourner too. Just gorgeous cards here. But it's not how pretty they are that counts. It's what they do. And there's the Call by the Grave. No, I will not have my effect negated. And there's the Called by the Grave. No, I will not let you Flamberge. And now here is the Baron de Fleur, shutting things down. So that'll be the end of that chain, it appears. Both duelists just slugging this out, not moving an inch. When a giant monster comes your way and says, hey, move. No, you move, is James's reply. So it looks like we're going to use the Snake Eye Oak, targeting the Poplar. Not a whole lot left there from Dennis's side, but still able to use the field spell. Turn player would take priority, but that actually means that the other player would be able to summon. So here comes the Poplar, and say hello to Nibiru, the Primal Being, back on the field. And with that, we're going to go ahead and grab the Snake Eye Ash out of the deck. Adding that to the hand. Still have quite a bit of gas left in the tank. But we will see the Snake Eye Ash hit the board. We're going to chain IP Masquerena to that, actually. So it's time for a Link Summon. 4 monsters. Is this a 4-material Apollousa? It is. Alternate art and everything. The Bow of the Goddess is here to start swinging. It's 3,200 attack with the ability to reduce it by 800 once per chain to negate, 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 and negate. This might have clinched out the last game, and depending on where this ends, our undefeated duelists might just be too good. They might end up in a draw. Next, we'll see Hida the Fire Charmer, able to grab something from the opponent's graveyard of that matching fire attribute. Very popular right now. $18.50, crashing for doing that damage. Incredible. Now remember, Apollousa only negates effects, doesn't negate activations. And so for that reason, the Charmer cannot be stopped. And there is Kurikara Div Incarnate, tributing the monsters the opponent used. Just big. Should be about 4,500 attack, gaining 1,500 for each of the monsters that were tributed. And then during the end phase, talk about our graveyard. You can go ahead and just pull a monster out of your opponent's graveyard. Sure, I'd love a Baron de Fleur. Maybe I'll take an IP Masquerena. Shows you the level 1 fire monsters come in all shapes and sizes. It's not just Rescue Ace. It's not just Snake Eye. It's not just Ponix. Effect Failure coming down. They're not Effect Failure, excuse me, Infinite Impermanence. Basically the same thing. Sending the Flamberge to the graveyard with the Diabellstar. Now that's 74.50. It felt good, but that Infinite Impermanence has really changed the tide of the duel. Dennis just watching what's going on. So many cards hitting the board so quickly. Say hello to Snake Eye Oak, then Snake Eye Ash, then Snake Eye Poplar. One begets the next, begets the next. Use that to say, okay, Kurikara, we've seen you. Please go back to the Spell and Trap Zone. and conceding that game. Now, duelists have only about 3 minutes to side deck. If they are unable to start the game, that's all she wrote. Unless we got a time extension that I am unaware of. That might mean that our undefeated duelists are just that good. Going ahead and going through the decks as fast as they can. Remember, this is still Swiss. So what does that mean if time is called? Well, you will go to the end of the current phase. At the end of the current phase, if both players have the same amount of life points, that is a draw. If one player has higher life points at the end of the current phase, then that would be one duelist winning. So it's going to take everything you can do. If you heard in the background, we have Frozen Play on the main event. So this is actually the last game ongoing that hasn't had time called. Both players just quickly trying to side deck, save as much time as they can. But it looks like we only have 1 minute left on the clock there, and neither of them have looked up at that timer recently. Again, they have a giant version of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Neuron screen you see at the left of the broadcast over their head on like a 30-inch television screen. So they know just as well as you do. 40 seconds remaining. Certainly want to include those options, but time is a valuable resource you may not have. Gonna go and shuffle up. Dennis having conceded there. Will get a chance to go first. Again, 15 seconds. If that timer is what it is, that may be all she wrote. Players are going as fast as they can. And that's 45. So it looks like that is time on the round. Unless there's a separate extension with the judge there. That might be a separate timer that the judge is running. No, it looks like it's clocked up to 45. That might be it. I think that the duelists can't believe it. Duelists taking the time to decide their cards. I think we have no undefeated duelist. Well, in that case, might get to hear from both of them just about their unprecedented run. But they're signing the slip. Our best duelists tied. That means, hey, in anime words, to be continued. Very, very interesting there. We'll see if we can get both Dennis and James up here. Make sure to give them a big round of applause when they exit that. That was quite the showing there. Both duelists just can't believe it, smiling there like, oh man, you know, maybe I could have done this, maybe you could have done that. Wish I had a chance, but that might be all she wrote on this tournament. But just great stuff. Let's do both. Just bring both, yeah. Can you get, dude, Dakota, can you grab me another chair? Can you have another judge bring another chair? Thank you. We're going to see if we can't get both of our players up here. And I'll let them keep the headphones on. Oh, I know what we could do. Okay. Testing, testing. Yeah, this works too. I guess I'll just use this as a microphone. So again, just to explain what happened for those of our viewers at home, the duelists were unable to start the duel by the 45-minute mark. So they both had the same number of wins. That means they drew. We have never had this. And both of these players have literally competed at our top tables before. James having won the preceding regional, I think both of them. Up, and then over. We're making room here, so we've got enough for both here. Gonna swap chairs here, and it's going to be an interesting little game to get everybody set up. But just unprecedented. Absolutely unprecedented. Might have to give up my head. We are live. So again, I'm going to have to pitch my voice up a little for you guys to be able to hear me. But both of you are no stranger to the top tables. There has never been a circumstance that we have ended with a draw like that. So I want to start with you, Dennis, first. When you're going into these situations where you have these long and elaborate games, what does it feel like to still be in this 10 rounds later? You guys have been here for 12 hours. Hanging in there? Still
Yeah, I drag it wrong. How does it feel? Well, honestly, game one, having to open.
I want to pitch the microphone just a little closer there.
Game one, basically opening really solid starting hand, especially uninterrupted. I'm feeling really confident going into it, right? You know, like I can just more or less, I'm feeling confident. But then, like, when it comes to when you include non-engine cards like Talons and Monster Reborn, you know, now I have to kind of adapt to the situation of the game now. It kind of changes the game plan, right? Because those are really strong non-engine cards. So realistically, that's what took a lot of time. It was a lot of like intricate sequences on his turn, and you know, there's just like a lot going on. Both our graveyards are full. Both like he has his fields. We both have our field spells going. Like, it's just a lot to think about. So I feel like that's really like, and then game two as well. Like, Monster Reborn and it's a good card.
Turning over to that Monster Reborn, those power spells in your hand kept you in that first round for so long.
Yes.
One of those things we were talking about it while we were on the stream. You would not give up the first game because you didn't have to. You were still in it.
Yes.
So was that what it was over the 10 rounds? Was it just dropping Monster Reborn?
No, actually against him, I think I've maybe dropped it maybe 5 times today, but every time I've dropped it, it's done something for me. Against him, seeing it twice was pretty funny. But like, as for game one, you know, unfortunately I didn't open up any hand traps, even though I play a ton. But I did open up a lot of board breakers, and I knew I could break his board, but I wasn't for sure confident that I could kill him. So honestly, I probably should have, you know, I was hoping he'd misplay on the clapback, but I figured that probably wasn't going to happen. I should have scooped sooner, and possibly we could have had a game 3 and see what happened there, but it is what it is. You know, a draw's a draw.
Well, there's always next time, and speaking of next time, I assume both of you are going to represent Texas proud with our upcoming North American World Championship
Absolutely.
qualifiers.
Oh, absolutely.
Looking forward to it for sure.
World Championship qualifiers right here, right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Definitely.
All right, well, you guys have been through a heck of a time, so I'll go ahead and let you go, but do you have any shout-outs? First, we'll start with you, Dennis.
Well, first of all, I'd like to shout out all my friends throughout the day supported me. You know, it's really hard because especially 10 rounds. You know, if you don't have like kind of you know, that friend group where you can decompose between rounds and you know, realistically refresh your brain. That's nice. Shout out to my team, JNC Collectibles, and shout out to Game Guys for hosting an incredible regional. 10 rounds, and I'm not gonna lie, we're about to be out of here earlier than expected, honestly. So good job on that. And that's really it.
Well, then, James, what about you? Anybody you want to broadcast shout-out?
Oh, yes, most definitely. Shout out to my wife. Shout out to my daughter. Shout out to Team Fafnir. Shout out to Game Guys. They held a great regional today. And a big shout out to Bryce Sharp for helping me with the mirror. Playtest. Big shout out to him. And I think that goes about it.
We'll let you guys go ahead and go.
Thank you.
Congratulations on being our best.
Thank you, sir.
Take that, my man.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Anytime. All right. right, well, you heard it from the best duelists in the house themselves, and hey, they might be the people who are representing Texas Proud in the North American World Championship qualifiers. But speaking of Texas Proud, thank you guys so much for watching our entire broadcast. Just an incredible setup here, just an incredible set of duels, and we are so happy with everything that happened here. Game Guys is such an excellent venue, so if you haven't come here, you'll definitely want to try it. And hey, maybe next time you'll be up here and I'll get to commentate your match. But until then, signing off. We love you. We miss you. We can't wait to see you at our next tournament. But until then, it's no longer time to duel. It's time to get some rest, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you for making it to the end of the video. Don't forget to check out Dank Rituals. Their link will be down in the description. Also, you guys should definitely join my Facebook group. I have a lot of really cool updates and a lot of really good information that you guys might want to keep up with about giveaways and whatnot on there. Also, please guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I would like for you guys to turn on that bell notification as well. I would like to grow my percentage of subbed and not subbed from 20% higher. I would really appreciate that. And don't forget to like, comment, share. You already know, guys. Appreciate y'all very much, and I'll see y'all in the next video.